Okay, it's 8:31. So I see folks are still joining, but I'm going to go ahead and get us started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tara Healey. I'm the program director for Mind the Moment, which is the mindfulness program of Tufts Healthcare and Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, point under the umbrella Point32 Health. And for anyone who's joining that is new, a special warm welcome to you and a big warm welcome to all of our regulars as well. Suzanne Pellicino normally is kind of the host of these sessions. She's not able to join this morning, so I will be on my own this morning. And again, my name is Tara Healey. These sessions are guided about 12 to 14 minutes in length. We start off with an opening question as a way just to check in, and then we leave time at the end, usually around 8 minutes or so, just to share ideas and resources, to ask questions, and just to connect with one another. So as a way to start this morning, I would suggest that folks open up the chat and make sure to select everyone so that your responses can be seen by all. And whatever contributions you make at the end can also be seen by everybody. So the question is really a question that we've been playing around with this week in all the guided practices that we've been offering, both for our colleagues at Point32 Health and for all of the practices. And it has to do with the word of the year. And I don't know how many of you were on with me yesterday, but I was curious to see who might know the word of the year. And it's kind of funny because normally it's a word that you hear a lot. But this is not a word that I have heard a whole lot of. And the word of the year is Riz. And it comes from charisma, which kind of interesting. It's sort of in the middle of the word. But Riz is the word of the year. And so the question is, my question is related to this. Often the Oxford Dictionary, all of them actually do a retrospective look for the word of the year. So it comes out in December, looking at that present year, previous months. But I was thinking this morning instead of looking retrospectively, to think about what word resonates for you as we move into 2024. What would be a word that feels inspiring in some way, or a word that is really aspirational for what you're hoping for in the new year? And this question actually came from one of the participants yesterday who thought it might be interesting to look at, to look forward instead of to look backward. So, as you think about yourself personally, as you think about the state of the world that we're in, what's a word that feels grounding, resonant, significant, aspirational? And so I would say to, if you're ready, to just go ahead and put that in the chat. For me, what I was thinking about was the word hope. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Loretta has started with that. And, there are a lot of feelings I have about all that is happening in the world, and that is just so incredibly painful. And so hope is the word that I think I would also say trust. And let me put my glasses on so I can see. So peace, authenticity, ignite, gratitude, embracing, pivot, doesn't have to be negative, generosity. Yeah, beautiful. And all qualities of mind and heart that we are actually cultivating in these practices. Renew, Yeah, really nice. So, um, as it relates to mindful practice, what we're doing in part is we're really looking at our own minds and seeing what we're triggered by, what we lean into, what we push away, um, and really cultivating pro-social qualities of mind so that we can start with ourselves in terms of bringing these qualities out into the world, into others, into our immediate families, and beyond. And I always feel like because there's so much sadness in the world right now, so much difficulty and challenge that, rather than feeling like I can't have an impact, that I actually can have an impact in the way that I work with my own mind, understand my own patterns and habits, and bring these qualities that all of you are mentioning into the world in my immediate relationships with family, but also beyond that, like how I am driving and how I am purchasing, consuming, all of these things. So, um, and Janice leaning into the beauty wherever we find it. Yeah, and there's a lot out there. With that, let's go ahead and get started in practice. And it typically runs like around 12 minutes or so, sometimes a little bit more, a little bit less, and then we'll save time at the end. So um, go ahead and settle into a posture that feels like it's going to be most supportive to you. And always know that standing is an option, lying down is an option. Um, and your eyes can be open or closed, whatever feels best. Go ahead and settle in. Make any micro movements so that you're sitting in a way that is upright and engaged. Allow the body to soften and also surrender into the support of the surface, into the support of the ground and the earth below us. And take a couple deep breaths just as a way to settle any surface tension from your activity of the morning. So doing a deep inhalation through the nose and make that exhalation a little bit longer just helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. And letting go of all that has happened so far today and releasing anticipation of what's to come. So bringing the mind and the body together in this moment and receiving the sensations that your body is offering. So perhaps noticing the points of contact with the back of the body and the surface, noticing any pulsing or vibration, tingling, temperature. What's the raw data that your body is offering from your activities so far this morning? It might be pleasant, it might be unpleasant. Really doesn't matter. Just receiving whatever is being offered with a kind of openness, with a receptive attitude in the mind. And we're going to do a scan through the body. This one is going to be a little bit quicker. I've been doing body scans in the month of December. This will be a little bit quicker, and we're going to then land on one anchor to help stabilize the wandering mind. So that could be breath, anywhere you feel it within the confines of your body. So it could be abdomen, belly, chest, nostrils. But you have other options. So if there is another body sensation that's easy for your mind to track, could be the hands touching, could be the palms on your thighs, could be a sound. So we've got some options. Before we move, let's extend awareness outside the body to include sound in the room or outside of the room, just for a moment. And sound will likely be coming and going, not a problem. Begin to bring awareness back inward to the body. And let's bring our attention to our feet. Include the ankles, both the left and the right. And just seeing what's there or not. And moving awareness up to the lower legs, calves and shins. And again, noticing, receiving sensations or aware of lack of sensation. And moving awareness to the knees, and the thighs. And let's hold the legs, both the left and the right, in your field of awareness. Perhaps noticing points of contact if you're sitting, or the soles of the feet if you're standing. And moving awareness now up around the torso. So front of the body and the back of the body, internally. Again, receptive, curious, open to whatever is happening. And coming up around the shoulders, upper arms, elbows, forearms, and hands. So the left and the right side together, just simply feeling and receiving sensation. And as we move through the body and you notice any holding, soften to the degree that you can. And releasing the arms and hands, moving up now to the neck, the back of the head, the sides of the head. Coming down over the face. Bringing special attention to the area around the eyes and the jaw. Softening, releasing, and receiving. What sensations are you aware of? And releasing that. And just for a moment, whole body awareness. And let's begin to narrow the focus of attention for the remainder of our practice on an anchor. So could be breath sensation, could be another sensation that is easy for you to connect to and track in the body. So as you're breathing in and out at however your body wants to breathe, and noticing where the breath is most easy for you to connect with, most prominent. Otherwise, it could be the hands touching and the point of contact, the actual feeling of that could be where your attention lands. Or something else, there could be a sound, a consistent sound in your background. Noticing where the mind is, gently releasing the planning or the memory, whatever narrative has arrived uninvited, not a problem. Just simply letting that go, soften the body, and return again to your anchor. And again, noticing where the mind is. Allow the body to soften and return. And as we bring this meditation to a close, may we be peaceful and at ease. May our heart be soft and open. May we be safe and protected, and our bodies healthy and strong. And may whatever good comes of our practice be for the benefit of all beings. And taking a moment, if your eyes were closed, to open the eyes, but even if they were open, um, just reorient to the space that you're practicing in, maybe do a little bit of a stretch. And so we have some time for sharing and Q&A, of course. So, if anybody has a question, you can go ahead and put that in the chat, or even a comment, anything about how this practice might have felt for you this morning. I know my mind felt pretty busy, and it's just that's some days it's just like that. um, and it's also the holiday season, so it's easy for lots of things to slip in, and they do slip in unnoticed until they become noticed. But if anybody has listened to a podcast or read a book or anything that they would like to share, we've got a moment to do that. The word surrender you mentioned during the practice resonated. Yeah. There is something about that word that invites a release of whatever kind. And I think, knowing what we can change in our lives and what we can't. And I think it's helpful. So yeah, thanks for that. Anything else that anybody would like to say or offer? So the word for crisis in Chinese is comprised of two words, danger and opportunity. Yeah, nice, Loretta. I've been away for practice. Feels amazing to be getting back. Yay, happy you're back. It's really, really special to continue to practice with this community. It means a lot to us, and we're so happy that that you've been showing up for quite a long time. Yeah, lots on my mind, but I realize even just a minute of focusing on the breath, yeah, a sense of relief. Yeah, and that's how practice is, right? It's there are some days that are busy and some days that are not so busy, and it's and I even I often will stay away from I had a good practice or I had a bad practice, because it's all just what it is. It's all grist for the practice mill. And we start to see our thoughts don't ultimately have as much a hold on us. I mean, I think that's one of the benefits of practice, is that we start to relate to the thoughts a little bit differently. We don't believe everything we think. And we can see the transient nature of these thoughts. They arise, they pass. I even, thoughts like, I don't know if anybody has woken up in the morning and been, there's something I'm supposed to be worried about, but I can't remember what it is. And that gives you the sense, that that thing that had such importance has moved, has shifted in some way. And that's not to say there aren't thoughts that are incredibly important and significant. If we look at crisis and our chance to learn, and sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, in part, a lot of this is about dropping resistance to what is, seeing clearly what is happening. Hearing the word, it was interesting. In all my professional stress is the word of the day. Self-care, like mindfulness, can reduce the stress. Yeah, it just helps us relate to what's happening in our lives in a different way. We start to see it for what it is. And I think we develop what I would call a discriminating kind of wisdom, what's important to follow, what's not important to follow. Yeah, the word transient gives you reassuring perspective. Yes. I mean, another word that goes along with that is impermanence, that every thought, every emotion, every body sensation is of the nature to change. It is its nature. And I've always taken a lot of comfort in that. So whatever thought, whatever emotion, whatever body sensation one is having, it is of the nature to change. Sorry for all the light coming in, as I can see, like there's all this, I should have closed the shades. If I back up a little. anything else that anybody is on your mind? Yeah. Yes, awareness gives us agency. Beautiful. Yes, it does. Um, it takes us out of a victim mentality, and we see, it's that kind of ability to discriminating wisdom, what we can impact, what we can't, and yeah, it just gives you a lot more freedom and ease, just a lot more freedom and ease. And it takes a practice. So I've always appreciated my teachers over the years saying, this is a practice for a reason. There is a reason it is called a practice. And just coming back to remembering, interesting how you forget. Yeah. And I think, Janice, to your point too, like our habit patterns of mind are so deeply ingrained. So we forget at times, and we go back into our lives. But I think what with practice, what happens is we can see the arising of a habit or a tendency that we might not want to reinforce, and we can just breathe with it. So it could be something as simple as a family member that triggers you, and there might be a certain way you've responded to that family member. With more and more practice, you actually see the triggering sooner in the process. So you create like a gap between the actual impulse, that triggering, and the action, whatever it is, like a verbal or a physical reaction of some kind. So you start to see it, and then you have a choice. Again, like somebody else used the word agency, you have more agency. So you can breathe with it, feel what's happening in the body, and then come out with something that is more aligned with your own values. And just like whatever we incline the mind toward on a regular basis, that's what we're training. So that capacity to feel a triggering and to then pause is huge, because that's the pattern you're now creating, so that you can incline, you're going to start to incline that way, which is a driver cuts you off, and instead of reacting in an old pattern, and you could fill in the blanks with whatever, I just use driving, instead of reacting, you're responding in a different way, one that sees the provocation, feels the body's response to that, the thoughts, the emotions, feeling the body's response, breathing with it, right? And then taking an action or not, like whatever is called for. And to, then you start to just really trust your own inner wisdom, your own inner knowing. Yeah. Thank you, Janice. Yeah. So, and I think when we think about all that's happening in the world and how little at times it feels like we can do, that we can really start, which we are right here and now with ourselves, and bringing that sense of kindness and compassion and peace and ease into our homes and our workplaces and our communities. So, yeah. So with that, thank you everybody for practicing. We're right at 9 o'clock, and I appreciate just the opportunity to just learn from all of you, to share resources, share ideas, and just have this conversation. Okay, so happy weekend, and Suzanne will be back on Tuesday, and so we'll see you then. Thank you so much, everybody.